Hello and welcome back to the next chapter of my book From the A to Z of Alcohol and Sobriety, Everything You Need to Know by me, Corinna Alderton. And today we're going on to H, which covers things such as habits, happiness, heart disease and healing. Habits. It's generally thought that it takes 66 days to break a habit. But in fact, it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. Less and much longer for some. Don't panic. This is actually good news, as it can take as little as 21 days for an old habit to go and a new one to take its place. And that is the trick, to replace our drinking habit with something new. A hobby, a project, exercise, flavoured tonic water in a posh glass. The joy I now have when I hear the sound of the kettle and have a lovely cuppa is far more wonderful than opening that bottle. Hallucinations are when our mind can see, hear, feel, taste or smell things that are not really there. Ever smell gas when there was nothing? Or hear someone call your name? Or had any experience where you've put it down to your mind playing tricks on you? One reason for hallucinations is thought to be high dopamine in the frontal area of the brain. Hang on a minute, does alcohol not cause that? Hallucinations can become more common when we are intoxicated and also when we stop drinking. When I quit, my skin itched for 2 months with the sensation of little insects crawling all over it. Halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired is something a lot of us use in recovery. When you are feeling out of sorts or craving, just stop and think. Are you hungry, angry, lonely or tired? Take the correct action for what you are feeling. It's a great way to stop us from reaching for that bottle. Hangovers. Another wonderful side effect of not drinking. No hangovers. No headaches, shaking, nausea, vomiting or tiredness, and no drinking anxiety, guilt or regret. How many times have you said, never again? And yet still we do it time and time again. I stopped drinking whiskey at the age of 16 because it made me so ill. And another time it was tequila, when I found myself in the middle of the Nevada desert on all fours and honking endlessly like a dog. And then brandy because it made me so anxious. And then beer because gluten made me ill. And that's just it. I do not eat gluten because it makes me ill. But still I continued making myself ill day after day with alcohol. Pretty crazy, huh? What about you? Happiness is the opposite of suffering, and I truly never realised it could feel like this. Happiness is genuine, it is natural, and it is of our own making. Initially, I could not remember having ever felt this way, but that's because our memories have a habit of hanging on to sadness and misery. Now, sitting writing this, I'm reflecting and remembering many good times from my past which filled me with happiness and joy. Have a little dig around today. Go and find some happiness and remember to share it around. It really is infectious. Happy. We are all connected by our wish to be happy, but we look for things, situations and people to make us feel this way. But it's a bit like that beggar's box of gold. We just have to look inside. Yes, there are lots of emotions inside of us, but numbing them is not the way to make us happy. Working through those emotions, dealing with the situations and feelings, accepting our contributions and areas of control, and letting go of the past really does make us happy. Anger, greed, resentment and jealousy will just keep us in a dark place. Learning to let them go allows our happy to shine through. Harmony is music to our sober ears. When we stop drinking, not only are our relationships much calmer and authentic, but our body, brain and mind become much more in tune when we are not numbing all of our senses. Healing happens in sobriety. We have so many emotional and physical wounds and scars from battling through life and addiction. Once we put the alcohol down, the physical healing begins. All the withdrawals, shakes, anxiety and nausea and sweating are our body getting rid of toxins and adapting to not being dependent on a substance. That is a great start. Eventually our bodily systems, organs and functions will automatically reset to their healthier and new normal, but remember to schedule in a medical review if you can. Eating healthily, drinking plenty of water, pacing ourselves, resting, exercising, sleeping and taking supplements will all help. And then the emotional healing starts. The tricky part is going up against our ego, our addict's voice, our anxiety and altered unhelpful thinking, our hurt and anger, and resisting the urge to numb it all again. There are parts that are so painful we think we will die. Pain cannot kill us, but our actions can. No emotion, feeling or pain can stay the same way forever. It has to change. If we drink, we only numb it for a while and then it comes back again. If we stay sober and actually work with it and through it, then this is one place where the grass can begin to grow greener. And the great thing is, it was all within our control. Health. Well, finally, here's to your very good health. I cannot believe that we chink glasses and say, to good health, before pouring poison down our necks. Quitting alcohol most definitely improves our physical and mental health in the long run. It might not feel like it at first with all the withdrawals and starting to feel, but eventually, not only do we start to feel healthier, we actually feel alive. Heart. You've probably read and jumped up and down with joy the article saying a glass of wine is good for the heart. This is actually down to all the nutrients in the grapes. The heart is the main muscle of our body. It keeps us alive by pumping our blood around our body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every organ in our body and taking away the stuff we no longer need. You've already listened to about how alcohol affects the blood, oxygen, nutrients and circulation. It stands to reason that it is going to affect the heart also. Our heart is a vital organ. If it stops, so do we. If we drink ourselves into a coma, the part of the brain that unconsciously keeps the heart beating can go to sleep too. Heart disease is anything that affects the rhythms and pumping of the heart and the blood flow to and from it. This includes strokes caused by a blood clot or a burst blood vessel in the brain, unusual heartbeats, high blood pressure. This is the pressure of our heart pumping the blood around our body, too high and we could have bleed on the brain, and narrowing of our blood vessels, to name but a few. Alcohol affects all of these things, and there is a heart disease that is specifically caused by alcohol, weakening and thinning the muscles of our heart. It is called alcoholic cardiomyopathy, or alcohol-causing heart muscle disease. This, like all heart disease, can lead to complications in other areas of our body and heart attack. Again, get yourself checked out, especially if you're getting breathless, dizzy, have pain or have swelling or fluid collecting in your lower legs and feet. Help. We all need it, but it helps if we can ask for it. To ask for help shows strength and courage, and it stops others second guessing what we need and us getting annoyed with them for not knowing. Helplessness. A horrible feeling that comes and goes. I've never felt more helpless than when I was drinking, completely trapped in that hamster wheel, continuously going round and round. When we break free from alcohol, we really can break free from anything. We just need to work it as much as we do our drinking and ask for help, because it actually is okay to feel helpless. Hereditary. It's our looks, our genes, our traits and behaviours which are passed down to us by our parents. We've already seen that there is thought to be a genetic link to alcohol and addiction, so it could all be passed on. But there is always that nature-nurture aspect. Was it genetically passed on, or did we learn it from our environment? But does it really matter? There is no blame here. Once we can just accept it for what it is, it can make for much smoother sailing. High. Sobriety is the best high we can ever achieve. It is natural and genuine. Yes, there are the moments of doubt, sadness, anxiety and darkness, but it's far better to come down than when we have a hangover. Sober joy, love, laughter are the best highs ever. Be patient, they will come, and the wait is so worth it. Higher power is said to be something greater than us. I think we all have our own greatness. We just need help to find it. My higher power is anything or anyone who can help me to achieve my recovery. My sober communities are my higher power. You are my higher power for giving me the motivation and inspiration to write and read this book. Hippocampus is part of our limbic system and helps us to work out information from our short and long-term memory. This is our librarian keeping all of our memories in order until our fire alarm goes off or we anaesthetise it. We should not sign legal documents or go to therapy when we are drinking alcohol due to the impact of this on our ability to store and recall correct memories. Hobbies. There are so many to choose from. When I first quit, I thought, what am I going to do all the time now that I'm not drinking? It's going to be so long and boring. Now I honestly don't know how I ever had time to drink. What did you enjoy doing before you were drinking? Is there anything you've often thought about doing but not had the money, confidence or motivation or time to do? Look around for inspiration today. My motorbike really helped me find the little girl in me again, and it is so much fun. I also knit, read, jigsaw, play board games, podcast and write. And just as I type this, an email has come through from Hobbycraft. Now there's a great place for inspiration. Honesty is always the best policy. Learning to be honest with ourselves and others can be difficult, but so worth it in the end. Admitting to ourselves that we have a problem with alcohol is tough, but it's a huge step forward. Even if we don't do anything about it at first, or keep trying and then giving up, identifying the problem is good. This is our journey, and we may not want to tell everyone of our issues and problems, but seeing and speaking our truth can be so refreshing. It stops us from tying ourselves up in knots by trying to remember what we have said to whom. In a nutshell, be true to yourself. Only tell others what you want, but don't lie. Hope is what helps us to change and succeed. There will be times when we lose it, and that's fine. We just need to let others hold it for us for a while and be our cheerleaders. A good community will always walk by our side and hold our hand. There is no in front or behind. We are all walking side by side and keeping the hope going. Hula hoop. Similar to our outstretched arms, imagine a hula hoop on the floor and think of yourself sitting or standing in it. This is our area of control. Remember it and recognise when you've stepped outside of it. Take a deep breath and get back in it and relax. The control freak in me sometimes wishes I had an extra large one, but as others have pointed out, an extra small one would give me less to worry about. Recently I find my ego way outside and ready to do battle, and I've had to catch it, drag it back inside, kicking and screaming, and nail it firmly to the floor. Human. We are only this after all said and done. A mass of tissue, bone, water, chemicals and electricity. And like all these components shoved into a test tube, we get a bit overloaded at times. I do believe we have spirit and soul encased in our bodies, and sometimes it feels as though I am screaming blue murder to be let out. Another case of learning harmony. Alexander Pope wrote, "To err is human, to forgive is divine." Start today by forgiving and harmonising yourself. Human Rights Act gives us the freedom to be who we are, speak out and move freely. There are 30 human rights, but how many times do we violate our own rights by drinking? The right to live in freedom and safety, to live freely without control and without torture and pain. The right to our own privacy and keeping our good name. The freedom to move, travel and go where we want. The right to play, rest and relax. Nobody can take these freedoms and rights away from us, nor can we take them away from others. But alcohol does take our freedom away. Humour can be found even in stressful situations, like the gust of wind when we are sprinkling our loved one's ashes, looking back on the 40 towers or sketchy Grange stay, the time we reversed the car into a bollard. Oh, is it just me then? Humour is a bit like the sun. We can't always see it, but it will come out and shine on us later. A very good friend once said to me, "Will this really matter when you're 80? I use this all the time now to identify what really matters in life." So if you're feeling stressed today, try asking yourself if it will matter in years to come, and remind yourself that one day this could well be a talking and laughing point. Hygge. This Danish word and concept is all about coziness, comfort and connection, and is a wonderful form of self-care. It's lighting a candle or a fire, putting on snuggly clothes and curling up with a good book, a pet or a loved one, going out into nature, connecting with friends or picnicking in the park. Don't have a hoo-ha day today. Have a hygge one instead. Hype. What's it really all about? It's about exaggeration, bombardment, getting us excited and whipped up into a frenzy with the "I really must have it now." Oh, it's bringing our id out to play. And then our ego wants to moderate, but there's that FOMO to deal with, and the relentless advertising makes it look so inviting. We can't possibly miss out on feeling so good. Oh bugger, I hit the F it button again. Don't be hard on yourself. It's easy to see how we can get so carried away and succumb. Hypothalamus is probably the busiest part of our brain, keeping everything balanced and in order. It keeps everything where it should be, including our heartbeat, breathing and our behaviours. It also controls our response to pain, gratification, such as in our reward pathway. Alcohol numbs every part of us, including our brain, and its functioning, and knocks everything out of balance, including our hypothalamus. Hypothermia is when our body gets too cold, and it can be fatal. Alcohol directs blood supply to our skin, making us feel warm, but actually making us cold inside. And then because we feel warm, we strip off or become tired and confused and fall asleep outside, putting ourselves at risk. We become pale, our lips may go blue, we shiver, and our breathing slows down. ... Some medications such as antidepressants, anxiety medication, antipsychotics, heart medications and opioids can also make us more at risk to hypothermia. What to do? Get help. Get inside if you can. Have a warm sugary drink or eat chocolate. Remove any wet or cold clothes and wrap up warm with blankets. Do not have a hot bath or shower, or sit directly in front of a fire or rub yourself warm, as this can lead to burns, shock and loss of consciousness. And do not drink alcohol. This will make it worse. I hope some of that was helpful. I'll see you again soon with the next chapter, which is I. Can't believe I had to look. Ta-ta for now.